Well, hello there. The people have once again spoken, and today we're diving into the history of Iron Fist in video games. Now, Danny Rand, in my opinion, has always been a very underrated character, even more so than Daredevil or Moon Knight. The guy had pretty bad luck in media pretty much always, being somewhat controversial in comics from the very beginning, and getting portrayed in a very different way than he should have been in his own TV show, which led to understandably bad reviews. And nowadays, the guy straight up died in comics, and his place was taken by a different character, who is slowly taking his place everywhere, video games included. My point being is that Iron Fist, in general, simply has bad luck as a character lately, but I'm here to try and correct it just a little and give the guy some well-deserved spotlight. Let's dive into every video game where you can be the Iron Fist. And right at the beginning, I've already had some difficulties. After digging for a little bit, I realized that Danny wasn't even in the first Marvel Ultimate Alliance game, which I always thought had him for some reason. In fact, he hasn't appeared in video games for a very long time, and the first official playable appearance was in 2007, when at this point all other characters I've covered so far already had at least a couple of games under their belt. Anyways, the game is titled Spider-Man Friend or Foe. And for starters, this game has a banger soundtrack. Well, at least it felt banger when I was a kid. The game centers around a somewhat interesting concept, at least at the time. It's a 3D beat 'em up where Spider-Man has to team up with all of his previous villains to take down the ultimate bad guy, who is basically a bunch of symbiotes spreading throughout the planet. Yeah, Null was not invented at the time yet. But amongst those villains, we get a couple of familiar hero friends, like New Goblin of all people. Yeah, the game came out right as the third movie launched in cinemas. We also have Blade, and finally the Iron Fist himself. And what can I say? Danny Rand is somewhat of an odd character to play as. Unlike Spider-Man, who has multiple abilities to use, Danny is basically a sidekick character, who only has a basic moveset where he's able to do a 3-hit punch combo, and is able to charge those attacks to let out a ranged attack instead. And that's about it. What I found funny was how they added finishing moves to bigger enemies straight up from God of War series, which is kinda cute and a nice little touch. Nevertheless, Iron Fist is a playable character, and if your friend ever visited you to play this on a PS2 back in 2007, you could give him the role of Iron Fist, because you would most likely be playing as Spider-Man. He is not switchable and has a much bigger moveset. For the final note, the two characters have an ultimate team-up ability where Danny charges up a ball of web and launches it down, pretty much erasing everything on the screen. And that's all. Can't say I'd recommend this game unless you have nostalgia for it. We have better beat 'em ups available nowadays. Next up, we're switching our gears into the classic Marvel Ultimate Alliance series, an action role-playing game I've talked about quite a few times already. And even though Danny did not appear in the first part, developers were kind enough to include him in the sequel about the Civil War story arc, and things are already looking brighter here. Iron Fist has multiple swift attacks that resemble his martial arts background closer. He also uses his chi for special attacks, and is able to knock down multiple enemies with an AoE, as well as a very strong Iron Fist punch that makes his foes fly very far, far away. He's able to perform team moves with every team member as well, and overall feels like a very solid addition that is fun to be mobile and fast hitting with. His gameplay changes a bit in the third game though. Even though he's a little less fast, he is able to put his energy into single strong punches or kicks with his skills this time, closely resembling his TV show adaptation. So the whole idea now, instead of being fast and mobile, is to charge those attacks for a single very strong hit, outputting a very solid amount of damage to build up stagger and enemies when timed correctly. In both games, Danny is one of the better champions in my opinion, and both games can once again be strongly recommended by me. And yeah, if you want him in the first game as well, there is of course a mod for that too. Next up we have Ultimate Marvel vs Capcom 3, and my boy Danny can power pretty hard in this game, mixing fast hitting attacks with strong launching attacks that can make enemies fly high up, giving you a variety of options to juggle with and switch to someone else. He is also able to power himself up with chi energy, you know, just like Shang-Chi, which lets him build up either his attack, defense, or how fast the ult meter is building up, and that gives him some good flexibility overall in a fight. Overall though, reading what I could from pro players, he is considered more of a support player than main attacker, so take it as you will. I honestly cannot tell any difference and had lots of fun with him, but I don't play these kinds of games seriously. And to be honest with you, even though this was fun, this game has no story mode, It only has arcade battles, which is kind of a no-no for me because I'll play this for 1 or 2 evenings and then I'll just move on. So I can only recommend this game if you're a fan of the fighting genre, or maybe if you get it for $5 on a sale like me and you were bored. But that's about it. Now before we move to the next main dish, a couple of quick mentions. First of all, as always, we've got LEGO games. Iron Fist appears in both first and second Marvel superheroes, as well as Marvel's Avengers. In the first game, he has a neat martial arts style moveset with a charge up attack as a special, while in the sequel, it goes further and even gives him his own part in the story, where you have to visit Kunlun and save it from Davos. His moveset is pretty peak in the second part, which makes him a lot more mobile and jumpy, as well as giving him ability to power up and make his fists glow, letting him charge specific items with chi, or you could just use all of his chi to get a very strong attack going. Overall, in pretty much all LEGO games, he feels more special than most other LEGO characters, particularly because of his unique martial arts animations, and I like it. Not exactly my cup of tea though, because I don't play LEGO games that much. Next up, we've got Danny appearing in Disney Infinity series, which is a toy-to-life video game? It's based on different Disney and Pixar stories coming to video games, and in here, you basically have to buy playsets of toys to be able to play as the characters you want in games. Not gonna lie, I found the concept a little strange. Danny appears in the second and third series and is able to perform some very decent combos with special moves, summoning dragons and once again getting his full chi release. Now personally, I'm not a big fan of either games, but the second one is especially strange. Never understood the concept of buying physical DLC to unlock characters in games. And you also have to buy playsets for specific stories. I don't know. But once again, if you have nostalgia for it or just find the concept somewhat interesting, you have that option. Now moving on to something I could actually recommend, I might have found a gem I've been skipping on for far too long. You know how I've showcased Sifu multiple times before as a good martial arts experience? Well, that developer also made a little interesting title called Absolver. It's a game where, hear this, you're one of many students far up in northern mountains, training in martial arts, and becoming a living weapon. Sounds familiar? You get to create your own character, which yes, I made Danny Rand. I picked Windfall's fighting style as well, recommended by Iron Fist enjoyers, and I'm ready to play. I mean, just look at those moves. This seems like the closest standalone Iron Fist game we will ever freaking get, and I love it. The way the game works is it's basically a mix between Sifu and Dark Souls, where you explore an open world, level up, and learn new moves to become a better fighter. Every move you see done against you can be learned with time, aka Taskmaster style, and you become a stronger fighter the more enemies you defeat. Now quite honestly, after seeing this I thought I found a perfect Iron Fist game already. But unfortunately there are two drawbacks, at least for me. First of all, somehow no one made an Iron Fist outfit mod for this game yet, which baffles me as I have no idea why. This is basically an Iron Fist game. Some of the moves are even copied from Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, like come on! Second, the single player campaign is very short and can take from 3 to 6 hours at max. Where this game concentrates a lot is a mix between PvP and PvE. So yes, you can play it in single player, but the game incentivizes you heavily to find and fight other players, which might not be for everyone. Overall though, this is so far the best Iron Fist game I've found, and if you ever see it on Steam sale, it usually goes up for like $5 or something, you can potentially give it a try and see if you enjoy it at all. I personally did and plan on playing further. And yes, just like I mentioned in my previous videos, Sifu is once again an option as well from the same developers. It's just that I've played through this game already with Daredevil and Moon Knight, so I wanted to find something more unique for Danny Rand, and I did, but you can always go back to Sifu. Overall, both games are a great recommendation. Next up, we're diving into the trash can just a little.
Both Android and iOS.
Because I once again have to dive into mobile games to cover everything. And we've got our usual roster of hooligans here. Marvel Contest of Champions, a mobile fighting game, is first once again with Danny being in the game in 2 variants. And if that excited you, I am sorry because they're basically exactly the same character, just a recolor. Iron Fist is also a very obsolete champion in this game, just like Daredevil or Moon Knight. So playing with him is putting your game on an impossible difficulty, and I cannot recommend it. A hard pass for me once again. Contest of Champions honestly surprises me sometimes on how often they can miss an opportunity to play with a champion who is not available anywhere else. And yes, I talk from experience because I've played this game for years by now. Marvel Future Fight, however, got some more cooking in their pot, They have multiple outfits starting with classic Iron Fist, moving to Immortal outfit, all new, all different, TV show, and finally the living weapon. Each one plays a little different but have the same basic concept of handing out giant glowing punches with the help of a flaming dragon stopping by from time to time. Danny also has a cool team up move where he summons Luke and Jessica Jones and then they wreak absolute havoc together, which is so cool. I honestly feel so bad for this being a mobile game once again, because Iron Fist legit feels very fun to play here, but to get him there's a good chance you'll have to spend a lot of money, so I cannot recommend this game. Moving on, we have Strike Force, where Iron Fist has been serving as my team support for a while now. His main point is basically being a support for heroes for hire, and his healing skill basically heals all heroes for hire every turn, making them a lot harder to kill. My Luke Cage honestly was pretty much almost immortal with my Iron Fist. Finally, his ult ability attack cannot be blocked or evaded, and can do some decent damage. Overall, pair him with this comic book accurate crew, and he will do good work, even though he's an older champ. Now whether you like turn-based combat or not, that's another question. Finally, we've got Marvel's Snap. Danyan here is a card that moves your next card play to the left. And why, you may ask? Well, this game is a deck archetype all related to moving around. Cards like Dagger, Vulture, Craven or Kingpin are very good with movers, so Danyan works along with them and buffs them up to become stronger, ultimately playing as a support card for others to grow bigger. So overall, Iron Fist will fit well in any deck somewhat related to moving, which is great. And well, that's it for mobile games. I cannot recommend any of them, but Marvel Snap and Marvel Future Fight would be my top picks if I had to choose. Next up, we've got another regular here, a Diablo-like Marvel Heroes, the second most consistent game after Marvel Ultimate Alliance series. In this game, Danny has multiple costumes to unlock, all for free mind you, because the game is set on fan servers, and it is centered around building up his attacks to activate different fighting stances, with each giving a different effect, similar to what we saw in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom. And the more he has active, the juicier his attacks go, especially his ultimate ability. Finally, we're going to dive into Marvel Rivals. And yes, Danny Rand is not in the game. We've got Lin Lee, who took Iron Fist's mantle in comics and is the Iron Fist in this game. And I'll be honest, I'm a pretty bad Iron Fist. I tried playing as him a few times and I die almost immediately. So my bro Moon Knight stays as my main. Lin's whole playstyle is all about quick diving or flanking an enemy and then killing off the most vulnerable guys like healers or squishy DPS characters. He has a neat healing ability, a dive ability to close in on the enemy, a triple jump, and of course his ultimate ability, Cheaper Town Hall. Now they did add a skin that somewhat resembles Danny Rand in the game, but as of now the developers are saying the OG Iron Fist is not coming anytime soon, which is kinda sad. I wish they did skins that change personalities and voice lines like many other games do, so that way we could have Danny Rand with his own voice lines as a skin available. But those are just dreams. Fun fact, Lin Lee was originally created on a collaboration between Marvel and NetEase in 2019, and he was a character called Swordmaster, and Marvel Rivals is made by NetEase. So they basically created this character and then they added him into their own game. Yeah, I would not expect Danny to appear in the game anytime soon. And believe it or not, that's kind of it. I could not find anywhere else to have a somewhat decent Iron Fist experience. The guy doesn't even have a proper Batman Arkham mod, and this is all I could find, which kinda baffles me. Neither does he have a Fortnite skin. The best mods I found so far were some nice skins from Marvel Rivals, but that's about it. So let's go back and break down all of the recommendations once again. First up, we've got Marvel Ultimate Alliance series, then we've got Marvel Heroes Omega for Diablo enjoyers, then we have C4 Absolver for the top single player picks, and maybe Marvel Rivals for some PvP content. And that's about it. The least popular character out of everyone I've covered so far, which is just sad. Justice for Danny Rand. If you enjoyed the video, I'd be very grateful for your like and subscription. I'll be covering more video game and comic book stuff on this channel very soon, so see you next time. Bye bye.